Hey, Sven here. Today I have another really cool example from daily practice. So this isn't a demo system this time, but rather a kind of copy of our own live system that we use ourselves. For example, how we find new contacts from different sources in our free HubSpot account and enrich them with additional information. And we control the whole thing so that we have exactly one scenario that does all the work, and there can be any number of scenarios for where these contacts come from. How we set this up and how it all works, I'll show you here in this video. And even if you might not use HubSpot or the contact options I show you here don't match the ones you have, it really doesn't matter if you use the same systems, because that's not the point. As always, it's first about the idea and how you can implement such an idea accordingly. I'm Sven, I'm an entrepreneur, and I've been involved with quality and process optimization for over 33 years. Not just in business, but in all areas of life. And much of what I can do today, I've learned through experience and trial and error. And I know what really works. And in my videos, I want to show you how you can use intelligent process automation profitably for yourself and your business. And if you're not exactly sure how to get started with it, or where you might be able to create real added value, then just book a free call with me. You'll find the link for that right below this video. So let's get started. As you can already see in the background, there's a comprehensive scenario that's very HubSpot focused. And what are we doing here? In the end, it's always about having contacts that come from somewhere and then enriching these contacts in our HubSpot. This is a free version of HubSpot, so it doesn't have all the features, by adding information, filling in details, enriching them, and so on. The scenario is triggered externally, then we search for the contact and enter it into a Google Sheet, in which we can then run various analyses. Then in this decision point, we differentiate whether this contact already exists or not. If it doesn't exist, a new contact is created. If it does exist, the contact is then enriched. Everything we have down here also appears up here again. That means it's enough if I briefly go through this upper branch. So we create the new contact. Then we use the generate a response module, not create a completion, but generate a response. Why do we do that? Because with it, I can not only execute this prompt with all these questions, so we want to find all the data about the company, but we can also, down here, with the powerful tools, the web search preview, there are various other tools, we can effectively use the web search preview, which enables ChatGPT to seamlessly go online with this prompt and diligently conduct the corresponding thorough research there. Of course, this provides a completely different data quality compared to simply doing a chat completion, where it might just make something up that I don't actually want. It does return a JSON document, but it can't be properly parsed. That's why I have to parse it again here, and then you can already see the rest in the titles. Search for the company, enrich the data, add the note, create a lead, link a contact to the lead, link the company to the lead. And then connect a dummy company in case there isn't a company, for example, if it was an individual person. Yes, and that's basically it. And this scenario brings us a really big benefit. Now, the only question is, where does the data come from? And for that, I've just picked out a few examples, 3 examples of data sources in these other scenarios. For example, we have a newsletter, and we do that with Brevo. That's this module here. And as you can already see here, watch new contacts. That means whenever someone signs up for the newsletter, we query that here, combine the data, and then send this information to this scenario, that is to this HubSpot scenario. And what the call looks like here is relatively simple. We have email, we have name, first name, last name, and additional notes. We then specify the source here so that we also know where this contact is coming from, phone number, category, and down here we also call up the corresponding link from a scenario. Then we have, as a second source, an appointment booking. As I always say at the beginning of the video, you can book a call with me. This is the scenario that processes this call. That means we simply query these 20-minute appointments in my Google Calendar, and for evaluation purposes, we also add it to the Google Sheet. And then we also call up this HubSpot sub-scenario again. And in the third case, this is, for example, a fill-out form. I just recently watched my video where I compared the image generators. Then there's always the option to download the document I created there. If someone downloads it, we use, for example, Filaud here, which is a form system. At the moment, someone downloads it, the link is sent to the user by email so that they can download it accordingly. And then we call up the HubSpot scenario again. And now, of course, you can imagine that there are any number of such sources here, which ultimately always serve a very specific purpose. In this example, the contact that we received. To manage it accordingly, enrich it with data, specify the source, make it analyzable, and much more. Extremely useful for us. We also don't need to buy the expensive HubSpot version for such cases, and we're much more flexible in terms of the requirements and functions we can implement with these custom-built automations. I hope you enjoyed it and found it inspiring. And if you want to know more, as always, just contact us. See you next time. Ciao.